For Franciscan Beat, I'm Leah Moreau. Major waterline break at Franciscan University. Ohioans lose right to appeal disputed tax decisions. Trump promotes rewrite of tax code, and massive rock falls at Yosemite National Park. All this and more on today's Franciscan Beat. A major water line ruptured yesterday morning on the former golf course property. The city of Steubenville worked to repair the break while all water was shut off to campus. All afternoon classes from 12:45 p.m. onward were canceled. Water was restored at 3 p.m., but for the 48 hours following the break, the Steubenville Water Department advises against using tap water for drinking, ice, cooking, or oral hygiene. Clean water can be obtained from the water transport vehicles stationed near the residence halls and Assisi Heights. Students interested in developing their understanding of Catholic liberal arts are invited to Dr. James Pauly's talk entitled Today's Declining Sacramental Practice, Catechetical Foundations for Recovery. The talk takes place today, Friday, September 29th, at 3 p.m. in the Gentile Gallery of the J.C. Williams Center. Beginning Friday, Ohioans are losing the right to appeal disputed tax decisions directly to the state's high court. The change was slipped into the state budget bill at the request of the Ohio Supreme Court. Justices argue it was necessary to lighten their docket of a flood of market-driven property tax disputes and to preserve their role as arbiters of significant legal questions. Some business groups predict it will have sweeping consequences for businesses, individuals, and governments. Police say around $15,000 was scattered after two cars crashed during a chase between their drivers. WSYX-TV reports the crash occurred Thursday morning in Sharon Township, outside of Columbus. Police say the cars were side by side when both drivers lost control at a railroad crossing. Police say the money will likely be returned. Neither driver is cooperating with authorities. Senior U.S. officials say the United States is pulling roughly 60% of its staff out of Cuba and warning American travelers not to visit due to, quote, specific attacks that have harmed U.S. diplomats. The officials say the U.S. is ordering all non-essential staff in the embassy in Havana to leave, along with all family members. The U.S. is also warning American citizens they could be harmed if they travel to Cuba. A State Department travel warning will note attacks on diplomats in hotels. President Donald Trump will promote his plan for a sweeping rewrite of the tax code to an audience eager for the proposed change. Trump is set to address the National Association of Manufacturers on Friday in Washington. The president and congressional Republicans this week released the outlines of a nearly $6 trillion tax cut plan. It would deeply reduce taxes for corporations, simplify tax brackets, and nearly double the standard deduction used by most tax filers. Puerto Rican farmer Hector Alejandro Santiago says he'll have to, quote, begin from zero following Hurricane Maria. The greenhouses and other buildings on the 40 acres where he grew poinsettias, orchids, and other ornamental plants were ripped to shreds when the Category 4 storm hit September 20th. Most of Puerto Rico's food is imported, but government statistics show about 7,000 people working in agriculture on the island. Police have increased their count of the number of people injured in a deadly stampede on a crowded Mumbai pedestrian bridge to 32. Authorities are investigating what caused the stampede during Friday morning rush hour on a raised staircase of a pedestrian bridge linking two commuter railway stations in India's West Coast financial capital. 2 straight days of massive and dangerous rock falls at Yosemite National Park have left 1 person dead, 2 injured, and mountain climbers stunned. A huge hunk of granite came off El Capitan on Thursday, even bigger than the major piece of rock that fell off on Wednesday. The second left just 1 man injured. The first killed a British man and injured his wife. In sports, National League wildcards still open, and New Orleans quarterback responds to protests. The only playoff spot that hasn't been decided is the second National League wildcard, with the Brewers trailing the Rockies by 2 games entering the season's final weekend. Milwaukee closes the season with 3 games at St. Louis, while Colorado plays its final 3 at home against the National League West champion Dodgers. Chase Anderson will start the Brewers series opener. National League Cy Young candidate Clayton Kershaw will get his final start of the regular season on Saturday in Colorado, while the Rockies are expected to go with Chad Bettis, Herman Marquez, and Tyler Chatwood. New Orleans quarterback Drew Brees says the team will kneel and then stand for the national anthem before their game against Miami in London. That's also how the Dallas Cowboys dealt with their anthem protest on Monday night in a game against the New York Giants. 10 Saints players sat on the bench during the anthem last Sunday on a day of unprecedented protests among NFL players, and some owners in response to comments by President Donald Trump that players should be fired if anyone disrespects our flag. Today's weather is sunny and cool. Look for temperatures to warm up to the low 70s by the afternoon. The trend continues through the weekend with a high of 65 on Saturday and 71 on Sunday. For Franciscan Beat, I'm Leah Moreau.